So let me taking the drawing instruments. So normally whenever what are the requirements of the drawing preparation? So generally we say as a common things what we know. A paper is need. So let me write the list of what are the commonly known things. So then what are the added things we will discuss later. So what are the first sheet required to represent our drawing or our idea on something required. So on paper we are representing normally. So we can say paper. Instead of the paper we say it as a drawing sheet. Drawing sheet is the required. So next what is the required? We know that we are using the pencil. Pen we can use, but what the problem by using the pen? If any corrections you are interested, so we cannot make that alteration. We have to just again freshly start the drawing from the scratch. So to avoid that one, wherever the some things you want to make corrections, we can simply the pencil lines can be modified. So pen lines we cannot. So this way the suggested in our drawing were pencils only. So next eraser. Anything happens wrong if you feel. So let you want to make the correction. So that essential is the eraser. Next, eraser should be a good quality. So in the market now we know known as the non-dust erasers. Why? Because we may just feel sometimes whenever you are erasing, a small layer of the sheet maybe comes out if you are using the hard erasers. So to avoid that one, you have to use the very soft, which are known as the brand as a non-dust eraser, whatever the company. So by using the non-dust erasers, so it only just removes the pencil line, not tears the any sheet area. If the area of the drawing sheet spoil, so if you want to just again draw the at the same space, it may not able to represent the good line of the representation. So in the drawing, we have to keep one more thing as essential. So drawing accuracy, how much important? At the same time, it is equal important representation. The representation should be good enough, and when only the drawing can be communicated effectively. As we said, it is a language of an engineer. So communication should be done at our 100% utmost level. So for that, neatness, accuracy, the representation, all the three occupies the equal weightage of our drawing preparation. So let's again drawing sheet and the pencil, eraser. So then what next? So generally to draw the straight lines, we may depends on a scale. So the scale generally we have to use to the scale instrument to draw the any straight lines. At the same time, you can measure the any line available already in the drawing. So please preferably for our drawing practice, try to use the long scale only. So which having the 30 centimeters length around, so that I can draw comfortably whenever you having the very length lines. So of the scales, we may require angular lines. It is not possible with the scale. So what the angular lines representation? We may use protractor. So what is the function of the protractor? Whenever angular lines representation we need with an horizontal line, so that angular lines we can construct. At the same time, if there any inclined lines are available in the drawing, it can be also used to measure what is the angle included between them. So that's why the protractor function, we can draw the angular lines as well as we can measure the angular dimension in available drawing. After the protractor, the scale we can use the straight lines, the protractor we can use for the angular lines. So then we need sometimes a curved lines. Okay, that is a arcs, a definite arcs or semicircles or quarter circle or circle. So for that one, what we need instrument, so it is nothing but a compass. The compass function is nothing but we can draw a regular curved line. That means the radius is fixed. It may be quarter, a sub part or semicircle or the circle. So for that when you use the compass. But where are the engineering practice? Instead of using the normal geometric compass, please try to prefer as a large compass. It may be known as engineering compass also. So try to preferable use. Why? Because sometimes we can come across in the future topics, we have to consider the bigger circles we need. So for that one, using the geometrical compass, the limitation will be maximum radiuses. So to avoid that one, so better use the large compass. So similarly, so other things we are having the compass followed by abbreviated normally, another way called as a divider. Divider is the instrument. We can transfer the measurements from our object to the drawing very comfortably. You want to measure any particular, suppose a gap, or you are seeing something. So if you are measure a gap, it may be difficult to measure by using the scale itself directly. So instead of that one, we know that the divider at the both the pinpoints we are having, we can just widen up by widening one, and between the gaps you can measure. So then you are transfer the pinpoints onto the scale. So that is a very little convenient to measure the divider and little more accuracy. So that is the function of the divider. So next, what else required? Drawing sheet came, pencil and eraser, scale, protractor, compass, divider. Any other essential requirement here? As normal drawing practice is essential, but compared to the our engineering requirements, okay, we may rely on the some more parts. So other thing we are missed here is a sharpener. So what the use of the sharpener? So whenever using the drawing work, after some time the pencil maybe becomes blunt. So once it is become the blunt, you have to resharpen, then only you can use the drawing work for that. So for that one you are using the sharpener. So beside the sharpener, to sharpen the pencil point, we are also use in our drawing is the emery paper. Emery paper is nothing but a sand, also known as in the normal our local society language is a sandpaper. The carpenter when just finishes the any carpenter the designs. So the such things you might see the emery paper. The emery paper is nothing but repeatedly we are using the sharpener of the pencil life becomes very blunt and the life will be becomes shorter. So instead of that one, we need only the point to be just sharpened. So on the emery paper, just you have to brush up your tip of that one when it becomes a blunt, so that you can extend the pencil life. So by using the emery paper with support of your function. So next, what else? So whenever using the drawing sheet, we need a good support, so then only you can prepare a drawing sheet. So for that we are relying on the drawing board. Okay. So the drawing board should be a soft enough. Why? Because you might experience whenever you are just taking the hard support on a single paper is there, so writing you may feel uncomfort. The same thing you are just take a backup on a notebook, the support of your notebook, you can write very good writing, so that you can just control so whatever you wish. So only for the good representation, again the drawing board should be very soft, it should not be a hard enough. The soft drawing board to be used. So after drawing board, you may place the drawing sheet on the drawing board, and again on the board you are working. So it is temporarily, if you are not fastening the drawing board with the paper, what happens? The paper may be slides here and there as you are moving your instrument, for instruments your hand here and there. To avoid that one, you may, for the good drawing work and accuracy work, the sheet has to be temporarily fastened to the drawing board. So for that one, what you need? Again you are the mostly we are using as the drawing clips. Okay, beside the drawing clips, we may use drawing pins, we may use adhesive tape also. But when you are using the pins, repeatedly you are just pushing the pins towards the board. What happens after some time, everywhere on the board you can just the leftover holes made by the pins. So it damages the board. So that's why better to not use the pins. Whenever using the adhesive tape, also it is known as the cello tape. So what happens when you want to remove the cello tape? So while you are just moving, you might experience sometime also. So besides the tape comes out, it gradually takes a layer of the sheet also, which damages our drawing sheet area sometime. To avoid that one, so better to use the drawing clips only. The drawing clips are like that, the U bent, the spring tensioned, the metallic or plastic are available. You have to just place the sheet over the board, and you have to just fix that one by pushing the U clamp towards the board, so that you can temporarily fasten the drawing sheet. You can work without disturb your drawing sheet here and there. So that is the requirement. So besides, we may use the French curves. Okay, the French curves, what the main application mean? So these are the irregular templates. The French curves are the irregular, readily available templates. So whenever you want the definite arc, quarter circle or circle, you are using generally compass. but sometimes on a drawing the two random points may be there. Okay, the two random points may be there. Here you may not work out a regular arc by using the compass, but we want to just join with a only simple freehand. You may be the slip here and there. You may be just curved irregular arc. You may not control your arc line or curve line when you are freehand. So in such case, you may be use the French curves. So on the edge of the irregular boundary, so which means exactly coincides both the points. So by taking the edge reference, so like that you may join, so that a little curve can be controlled by your hand. So for that French curve we are using. The same similar application we can get by flexible cars also. Flexible or flexible cars, these are known as. These are nothing but a stiffened some member will be there. So the stiffened members mean like this pencil or pen you are using. So we cannot bend by application the any pressure on over that one. So whenever the flexibility is given, so on hand pressure you may be just bent into a particular arc shape. So you can just make the edge of that particular arc shape whatever they are. So with the support I can just use the connecting line pads from the edge. So that is the main application of the flexible curve. After your work is completed, again you can stretch back by applying the pressure. So the flexibility means it make availability to just bend here and there as the temporarily as our requirements. So for that one function we are using the flexible curves. So besides we may use the templates. Templates are nothing but the readily available free from that one. So a metallic or plastic plate will be there. In that you may observe the circle will be there from the 5 mm to up to the some 30 mm. So each 5 mm, 5 mm, the diameter holes will be available. You want to just draw a small circulars, we can use directly the template, and just within the edge of that one we can use the draw the circle template. Similarly alphabets also you can write by using the templates. Next other thing, so there is the erasing shield. Erasing, as the name itself, the shield is the protection. Erasing is when you want to erase it. So normally what we do, the larger area when you are prepared a big drawing, so when you want to make the correction in particular places, they can just erase. While erasing, so you may unknowingly your form may be touched over the sheet. So once the form touches, if the setting body, you may just transfer the set, or any dirt already is there, it may be transferred to the drawing area. So that causes again that area where you are just touched directly onto the drawing area, it may be spoils that area by looking the dirt representation. To avoid that one, the erasing shield is a metallic plate on which we are having, suppose we are taking a metallic plate like this one. On this, a cavities will be made. A cavities will be made. Suppose you want to, wherever the drawing line you want to just make erase, just complete plate, the stitch over the drawing. So which area you want to erase, the try to ensure that in this cavity that will be appears. So once it appears in that one, take the eraser and you can rest over the palm on the plate, and with the support you can just simply erase your work. So it is a protecting your drawing area, so by spoiling, so directly your hand come contact to the drawing sheet. So that function is the erasing shield. So besides, so another one more instrument, the important thing we are missed here. So why? Because we are intentionally to discuss the latter, we are kept as a pending. So any engineer now easily available, any students nearby homes also, they are taking the one instrument like the or AK-47 gun shape will be there. So that is which instrument? Mini drafter. Mini drafter is a portable instrument, so which is available as a drafting machine in our industrial requirements. So the mini drafter is the basic instruments, so which are used and faster with accuracy our drawing. So mini drafter is a majorly we can use it for our faster work very conveniently. The sometimes the lesser and lesser time we can finish that one. Okay. The shape of the mini drafter so looks like the L shape of the scale will be there. So which is mutually perpendicular to the other one. So now this is nothing but horizontal scale graded as a normal scale lines. This is the vertical scale, so which is perpendicular to that one. Again there you will find gradations over that one. The scale can be rotated here and there, so it will be fixed at the end of a metallic plate, so which can be controlled by a knob. This total completely it is attached to another metallic junction member, so which you can join, and the same other things. And other side we have the one more the metallic cap, which again we can control by a knob operation. The here whatever using we can just unscrew it one and you can fix to the drawing board, and this end I can just use the function here and there. So by rotating the knob it is free to rotate here and there also in our drawing area. So how much you are swiveling also it can be measured by the gradation provided in this metallic disc. So whenever you want to just move here and there about the point, how much it is will be moved in angular direction. Okay, so that is the possible in the mini drafter. So what the mini drafter can just overall we can function. So this is the normal scale function, whatever diskette has here, we can draw the straight lines and also you can measure the lines. At the same time I can draw the angular lines, that is nothing but function of the protractor. And besides the horizontal scale and vertical scale, these are kept mutually perpendicular to other one, so which is nothing but a function of a set square. So already we know that everyone set squares also. So what are the set square functions? The set square function, okay, we can whenever the standard angles mean, suppose normally just before that one, so let me check how to draw normal way. Suppose I want to draw the 30 degrees line. So whenever you want to draw the 30 degrees line, so maybe a line is available here. Let I want to draw the 30 degrees line. So what is the normal procedure? You maybe place the protractor here by reading the 0 towards right. You are coinciding originate the end. So then 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees. Along the 30 degrees line you are marking the point. So then you have to move your protractor, then take the scale and just coincide, and then you have to draw the angular line. So that means this much step of operation you have to make the 30 degrees line. Okay. Whereas the set square available as, so normally 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees as a one set, and 90 degrees, 60 degrees and 30 degrees as a second set. Let I want to standard angle. What are the standard angles? In both the sets available 30, 60, 90, 45, by combining the two we can have it. The third also available, which is the 60, 60, 60. It is not popular, so being already 60 degrees standard angle is available one of the second set. Okay, now by most popularly we are using the only two set square. By using the set square, if I wanted to draw the line, suppose this is the 30 degrees, I will want to draw the line. So what is the set square shape? You might like this is the shape. You may place the set square over the origin of line reference. So then the baseline reference we are taking, so this is included of 60 degrees, this is the perpendicular, this is the 30 degrees. Along the 30 degrees I can draw the line very comfortably within the lesser time. So that is the function of the set square. So as we spoken just now, the mini drafter, we are just now saying it is a function of the scale, being rotated here and there, and also we can measure how much rotated, that means it is nothing but protractor. At the same time, just like we are saying, the mutually those are the perpendicular, so which is the quality of a set square. So indirectly, when you are doing the mini drafter, we can just combine the function of the scale, function of the protractor and function of the set square. So directly the three instruments combined over this one. Besides, the major advantage is drawing the parallel lines. The lengthy straight lines and parallel lines you can draw very comfortably. So that is a major advantage of the mini drafter. So let me check normally how you are able to draw a parallel line. Suppose a line is given available. Let I want to draw at a distance of 30 mm. I want to draw the parallel line. So now scale, we know that with the scale I can draw the line. But at the 30 mm you may measure, we never guarantees that parallel mean everywhere you can measure the between the gap it should be 30 mm, then only we can say that is a parallel line. So by using the scale, the 30 mm you can place, but it is may not gives the guarantee exactly, it fits exactly everywhere the same gap of 30 mm. So for that what we need, so we know that we may use the protractor perpendicular to the protractor. By measuring the 90 degrees, I may place a point at a distance of 30 mm. Otherwise, by using the just fast up over set square 90 degrees, again we have said that by place the set square, I may fix the 30 mm point. But the single point, again there is no guarantee that it gives a perfect line. So we know that for drawing a line, how many points we need? The 2 points compulsory. Then only I can draw the straight line with our intended requirement. So for that, the same similarly, I have to mark the one more point. That means either you have to place the protractor along the 90 degrees at a distance of 30 mm you have to mark. Otherwise, by taking the set square along the perpendicular line, I can mark the one more point is the 30 mm. So now this point perpendicular 30 mm, this point also perpendicular 30 mm. So now take the scale, just join both the points and draw. So now we can ensure that this gives exactly as per the requirement. So that is a normal way of the processor. So instead of that one, if I use the set square, just I am talking the only the part of the scale instead of the complete the mini drafter itself. So already we just check these are the gradation, horizontal as well as vertical. So now this is the line here we are getting. Assume this is the line, that means I am just moved here this one, so that we are coincident. What I need, the perpendicular, parallel line at a distance of 30 mm, so that I have to measure perpendicularly from the existing line with the 30 mm as just now you checked. So now we know that by the conception this scale is perpendicular to each other. So now I can count 1, 2, 3 at a distance of 30 mm. I mark the reference point. Now I can move the entirely this one. As the points coincide this line, I can draw the line with the edge reference of this one. So that means at the very minimum time, I can just get parallel lines as our requirement. Previously, which took at least 2 minutes plus. So that is the major advantage of the mini drafter, which combines scale, set square, protracted function. Beside the major advantage, we can draw the how much lengthy line also we can draw very comfortably. So one more advantage is that draw the parallel lines very comfortably with the lesser and lesser time as compared to the other conventional method. So that is the major advantage of the mini drafter. So now what we are instruments we check, the ones here somewhere is backed. So drawing sheet, pencils, eraser, scale, protractor, compass the large one, divider, sharpener, emery paper, drawing board, and drawing clips to fasten, French curves, flexible curves, templates, the engineering shield, the set squares we miss, we can take add this also, instruments, the set square. So next other thing, instrument box. Instrument box is not necessary to use everyone, but especially who are the drawing as their career of the life, like the mechanical engineers or civil engineers, they have to study the drawing for furthermore academics, so they may have better to make the good precision drawings, they have to compulsory use the instrument box. So what the instrument box and what it will be holds. The instrument box is nothing but, as the name, it is a box we are keeping some instrument in this one. So what the instruments generally we are having in a box mean, so normal whatever we are using for our drawing purpose, but for the precision making we may add some more instrument into the box. So already we are listed as a 6th item, so that is the compass. Compass will be there, so which is the larger one, or engineering compass. Okay, that is a large compass, also known as it is a engineering compass. So beside similarly large divider. So other things are bow compass, similarly bow divider, okay. So bow compass, in this, what is the reference? The large compass and the bow compass mean the large compass is only we are having the 2 leg points which are having the 2 arms as a normal compass how looks, but in the bow compass the same arms will be controlled by the spring. until unless you are operated by the screw and nut mechanism. So until unless you are screwing or unscrewing, the gap may not be disturbed. Okay, so where is the large compass, just only you have to widen, you have to just widen the gap and you can use as a compass. So but what the difficulty by using the such compass mean, whenever you want to draw the some circles repeatedly over on your drawing. So repeatedly, so normally how we are using, just we may be put like this one, by just dragging this line and we may draw the curve circles. Repeatedly by applying your pressure over the legs of our compass, so it may be pressurized. After the sometimes the unknown pressure may be causes the decrease in the gap of the compass. So that decrease the gap. So what happens, after the 3 or 4 circles, you may not get the same accuracy circles as the earlier one. So whenever you want to the precision drawing compulsory, so you have to just better to choose the bow compass. So bow compass, whenever you have the smaller circle diameters, repeatedly you want to draw as a template. So on the drawing area, better to choose the bow compass. So what the advantage mean? These are controlled by a screw and nut mechanism. Until unless you are not disturb the screw, the gap may not be disturbed. So that will be protected, the gap will be maintained until unless you wish to change. So that's why for whenever the accuracy, repeated circles, you want to use the bow compass, you have to use. The same function divider, bow divider, this is the larger one, this is the smaller one. So besides we are using a lengthening bar. Okay, so what is the function of the lengthening bar? Sometimes the very large circles of radius you want to draw, so the bow compass, the large compass also not sufficient to just meet that requirement. So then one of the arm, we can just by adding this lengthening bar, we can just extend the length of the arm, so that by extension you can meet the higher radius also whenever you want a special purpose required. That has to be used a lengthening bar. So after that we need a inking pen. You want to just convert the pencil lines with the ink, the inking pen, you to use this one. Next, a small lead case. Here is a small plastic box. We can just keep the leads for your future requirement of to feed the compass whenever you want the pencils. So after that, a small screwdriver will be also there. Why the screwdriver necessary mean? All of these metallic instruments, so being the mechanical instrument here and there repeatedly used, sometimes the screws or nuts, it may be get loose, so that you cannot control the precision requirement, so that you can just temporarily repair. For temporary repairment, the screwdriver will be given. So all these instruments together packed in a box, so which is known as the instrument box. Okay, so it is also just makes whenever you want to the very precision drawing you want to prepare, so that we can use the instrument box. In the normal course, you have to keep the large compass, so which is sufficient to draw the scale as earlier we discussed. So after that, when everything is covered, but coming to the drawing sheet, we have to stress once again the pencils. So once again to stress. Similarly, the drawing board also. Clear? As a drawing listed instruments, the drawing sheet is the one of the important. So normally the sheet, whenever you are using for the drawing sheet, it should be very white and bright in color, and the layers of the drawing sheet should be very tough enough. So why should you take the quality measurements mean? The just beginning of the class already we told the drawing, how we are not only the accuracy, so it is also compulsory to maintain a good representation. So then normally whenever we are required the erasing or anytime the rectification of the drawing work we needed, we have to use the eraser. So when you want to erase, it is a poor quality of the sheet. So what happens? So instead of erasing the line, it may also tears the layer of the sheet. So once it is a tear of the sheet comes out, so when the sheet tears, so whenever you want to again the rework there, it spoils the neatness, it may not be appearance. So that's why very tough layered and the very white and bright in color you should be chosen for our drawing sheet. So whenever the drawing sheet is chosen for our drawing work, so we may be come across the standard, the representation we have to maintain. So normally the drawing sheet wherever we are using, it will be designated by a letter A. drawing sheet. So whenever as per the engineering standards, it will be represented as a letter A. Followed by a subscriptive, some number 0 or 1 or 2, 3, 4 up to like that one we are using. So it is nothing but A mean a specific sheet only we are using that one. So A stands for the drawing sheet representation. The followed by subscript you are getting either 0 or 1 or 2. It speaks the size of the drawing sheet. So let me consider A and it is a 0. So it is the one sheet size we are choosing. So thereafter another designation as a A1. We are using the subscriptive. Next A2, A3, A4. So these are the normally available in the market. So normally the A4 we are familiar with whenever we are making the Xerox of our routine works requirement. So normally we are just hearing it is a A4 sheet. So what the A4 sheet is nothing but A stands for a paper, the 4 stands for a specific size. So what the size? So generally the size of A4 is a 210 mm cross 297 mm. So thereafter A3 is the same again, which stands A as the representation of the sheet specification. The 3 stands for a specified size of the sheet. So what the size it be? It is a 297 mm cross 420 mm. Similarly A, again the sheet of a specified size A2 is mean a specified size of 420 mm 594 mm. Again A1 has a specified of drawing sheet which has a size of 594 mm 841 mm. Next A0 is another size of the specified size of 841 mm 1189 mm. Okay, so these are the dimension. So why choosing a regular figures instead of the 800, 900, either round figure of 900, a round figure of 1200. So it is the meaning of the choosing the lengths are the such a manner as the 841, 1189. So you can observe it is the some x dimension. It is of root 2 of x dimension we are using. So that means the proportion year to year you are getting as a root 2 times. So how we are taking mean? So basically A0 as the bigger sheet size available for the drawing area, which they taken as a 1 square meter. So the dimension of the complete A0 mean the area you can just multiply to this one you are getting as of 1 square meter. Thereafter everything you are coming down. For everything that means from A0 you are just getting down as the next size, that is the A1. It is exactly half of the area in this one. Half of the area means it becomes an area of 0.5 square meter. Similarly from A1 to A2 again it is the half of the higher size, so which is fixed 0.25 square meter. So next similarly it coming down as 0.125 square meter. So like that from everywhere basically the chosen A0 as a 1 square meter area. So just for the feasibility they taken the width to length ratio as 1:2 root 2 and then formulated the dimension as 841 to 1189. So like that you can get in. Okay. If you observe, we are just keep in mind very logically, you need not to by hand all the things. Either you can keep in mind either A0 size or A0 size. Already you are just your check mind how you just proceeded. I written first 210 by 297 which speaks the size of A4. So then I can just move to the higher level. How it is possible? Just keep the one thing is mind. So write the 210 by 297. As you are going to the higher side, so that is the length of the sheet is becomes the width to the next higher. The 297 directly going as a width. So next coming to the length, the whatever the lower size, double the size you are getting as a length. So 210 you are getting as a 420. Similarly for the next higher A3 to A2, the simply 420 moves as the width, whereas the 297 get doubled comes as the length. Next similarly 594 moves here, so again 420 becomes double 841, just here is a hard number 841 you are getting. Next higher size it becomes exactly 841 and it is getting double, you are getting 1189. So these are the sheet sizes. So generally drawing sheet mean it will be represented as a letter A followed by a subscript letter either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and the 5 is there but is not popularly known, so which is again half of this one. Okay, that is not popularly, please try to keep in mind from A4 to A0 is important. In our drawing requirement, A4 is the smaller size and the larger size is the A0 which has the space of 1 square meter having the dimension of 841 mm by 1189 mm. Coming to the width to length ratio is 1:√2. So those are the about the drawing sheet. You have to use the sheet, the white in color and the tough layered sheet you have to use for our drawing work. Similarly, the drawing board, so which are using for the drawing support. So for the support work we are using so drawing board. So generally the drawing boards are the taken designation as D letter. As again speaking of the drawing sheet, so drawing boards are designated by letter D followed by again 0. So these are specified as D0, D1, D2, D3. We have the rough dimension around now. Here is the 1500 mm by 1000 mm, whereas the D1 of 1000 mm by 700 mm, whereas the D2 as 700 by 500, whereas the D3 as 500 by 350 mm. So due to the machining of availability of the wood machines, so this taken not accuracy as ever the ratio of 1:2, but here and there we can meet the same. So what are the lower size of D3 as a 500 mm by 350 mm. So which becomes as again 500 moves here and 700 comes, again 700 moves, again getting double, the 1000 moves, then around you are getting double. Approximately you are not getting equally, but approximately it is a double than already. So already we are just beginning of the instruments while saying the drawing board should be very soft support to be there, it should not be very harder one, so that a good drawing with controllable lines are expected, so with a soft support only. So these are about the drawing sheets and the drawing boards. So remaining the important things you have to know about the different type of the pencils also. So what is the pencil function? Whatever want to represent in the form of the line, so what is the drawing creation necessary, that has through by the pencil only you have to use. So come to the pencil, already the pencils we are aware that we are using. So besides the name, you might observe the grade of the pencil. So what is the grade of the pencil? So generally in the market you may be just observe with the HB pencil like that in our work. So strictly speaking the pencils, it is a manufactured by the lead and zinc. The lead nature is the very soft in kind. So whereas the zinc nature is very hard in it. So the mix up we are using as a pencil, so that's why being the lead is used as a component of the pencil, we may also, it is named as a lead pencil, sometimes you have heard that. So this speaks whatever the mixing proportion, it is a pencil's grade will be deviation. The total 18 grades of the pencils are available. It starts from 9H, 8H, so like that it becomes a H, so there is a neutral one F, after that HB, thereafter B, 2B, so like that it continues up to 7B. So where is that? This is a neutral proportion. Here onwards, whenever moving to the left, there is an increase in softness. There is increases in softness. Softness increases mean the lead composition is the dominated. So as we moving from here to here, the softness increase to here, whereas the hardness increases here. Hardness mean the zinc, the softness mean lead proportion. Okay, the once I repeating, the pencils are the made by the lead and zinc combination. The lead nature is a soft in kind, zinc is a hard in kind. So by mixing the proportion, it makes into the grade of the pencil. The grade besides the company name, this is the completely identified as normally in our market we are using as a HB pencil or H pencil like that one. But as strictly the total grades are available as a pencil, being the mixing property, the 18 grades are available. In these 18 grades, the series starts from 9H. After that, they coming down each by decrement as one number. 8H, 7H like that, it comes to the H. Then F is the neutral proportion. So thereafter, HB, P, 2B like that, as you are moving towards the right, each side one increment. So it will be starts from higher end by decreasing one number. Then as a neutral position, as it moves the right side, again there is an increment in one number. If I start from the neutral position, as you move in the left, it increases the hardness. So due to the hardness, you may get very light lines. You will get light lines with thin. When you are moving towards this one, there is a proportionally increasing. You are getting the dark lines with thick. That means whenever you want to draw a thick line with a dark in color, you have to just move from this here to here. So whenever you want to draw the light lines and thin in line width, you have to use this series. But we are not come across all the 18 grades. As our engineering practice, we are suggested for one pencil from lighter one, for one pencil a moderate one, and from pencil for the darker one. As a practitioner at the engineering level, so we may not sufficient to keep these three pencils compulsory for our drawing practice work. So as we are aware, the 2H is towards the left side. By using the 2H, we are getting the thin and light lines. By using the H, it is a very moderate, not that much thin, not that much thick. Moderate lines we can use, whereas with the HB pencil, when we can use a thick and dark. Thick and dark. So depends on level. Why? Because the drawing is nothing but totally we are concerned by the pencil, the lines presentation on our drawing sheets, whatever requirement needs. So sometimes our lines only itself is our language structure. At the beginning of the find one of the feature, it's the language of engineers. Whenever the language it considers their own grammar, so like whatever the grammar construction, we can say is a line. The differentiate in the line representation, only we can convey the meaning of the drawing. So it will be discussed in the following topic. So what are the types of the lines? So what you have to keep in mind, by varying the representation, sometimes you have to draw the thin lines, sometimes the moderate, sometimes you draw the dark line, sometimes the thick in line width, sometimes very thin in width, sometimes in between moderate you have to draw. So for that, you should have either 2H and H and HB. So all these we are about the drawing instrument. By our free hand also, whenever we needs accurate drawings, it may not possible with the hand control, so we have to rely on the drawing instrument. We can rely by drawing instrument, we can prepare the drawings at the better quality, but higher accuracy level. So what are the instruments support to us? As we can summarize the drawing sheet. So which are sheet we are using? This is the A3. The one of the sheet we are using. A3 means what we can speak? The A stands for the drawing sheet, whereas the 3 is the specific size, which speaks 297 by 420 mm. So this sheet presently we are drawing on the A3. Similarly the pencils, so just now we are mentioned about the pencil. To represent any line on the paper we need the pencil. So pencils are different grades available, even though our drawing practice we are using the 3 pencils. So what are those? One is the 2H for the lighter one and thin lines when we need. The H2B when you want to draw the moderate thin line. When you want the dark and thick lines, we have to use the HB pencil. So these 3 grades must be and compulsory you have to handle by any practitioner. So next eraser, as we speak, it should be non-dust so that your drawing will be protected. The scale, better to use the longer scale. The protractor as a function, angular measurement. Whereas the compass, better to use the large compass so that it can conveniently represent the more area of the drawings, more drawing, larger radius circles. The divider, not necessary for directly for our drawing work. The sharpening, whenever the pencil becomes bent, we can just temporarily sharp. Every paper, the only at the point it becomes the blend, we can just make resharpen. Whereas the drawing board, just now we discussed, it should be very soft support to be given to the drawing sheet, and that has been designated by letter D. Whereas the drawing sheet designated by A with suffix numbers, but whereas the drawing boards are represented with the D and with given the suffix numbers. So these are from A0, 1, 2, 3, 4 available, whereas here D0, D1, D2, D3 available. So after that, drawing clips. So drawing clips available, already I note that there is a U-type, the bend shape. You can check here, this is the drawing clip. So drawing clip, whenever you want to temporarily fasten the drawing sheet with the board, so you can just widen up the gap and you can push inside so that you can just temporarily fasten the drawing sheet. All the four sides you can clip to the board, but majorly the drawing board we are using as the bigger than the sheet size. You may clip the top right corner, bottom right corner and top left corner. You can use the clipping. So these are known as the drawing clips. 4 are available as a set, but you can function for the 3 compulsory you have to fasten. So after the drawing sheet, these are drawing clips. The French curves. The French curves are nothing but irregular templates which are used to join any two random points with a specified the curve. Flexible curves also similar function of that one, but whereas the readily available templates, these are the you have to mix by applying the force over that one. You can just bend in any particular shape and around the edge you can draw. So after that again you can retain into the same shape. These are the flexible curves. So after that the set square sphere function. So what is the set square function? The readily standard angles. What are the standard angles we discussed? So one is the 90, 45, 45. Other is the 90, 30, 60. So whenever standard angles, we can directly jump to construct the standard with minimum time. So now we can check this the set square shape. Okay. Here is the set square. So which having the 90 degrees. Here it is the 90 degrees, 45 degrees and 45 degrees. This is the one set square. So another step I spoke. So which having the 90 degrees. Here to here is the 90 degrees, whereas the 60 degrees, whereas the 30 degrees. So whenever you want the very readily available standard angles, you can draw with a lesser time by using the set square. So next the templates. So they are readily available for circular templates or alphabets or numerical. Erasable shield, just as you just identified here, this is the shape of a metallic plate and the cavities are made so that the area to which erase you can just make sure that it will be comes under the cavity. Then you can just form touch by you can apply erasing work comfortably. After that, this is the instrument box. So what are the listed? I just now listed. Now we can just examine. This is the instrument box. All the instrument just made available in the box. So which are named the instrument box. So what it told? So one is the large compass. This is the large compass. So by widening the gap, you can use the function, how much radius you want to, just wide that much and I can just use the function of the draw the circles. This is the so next similarly the large divider. So this is the same function divider. Same as above, what the change? On the compass, one is the pinpoint, other is the linear fix, just now you saw. So in this one both are the point. So I can transfer the dimension. Suppose I want to measure the gap of this one. By using the scale I may not accurate, but I can transfer by widening how much you are getting open. So after that I may transfer onto the scale. I can read like this one. Okay, it is around 23. So that is the you can transfer the object dimension onto the drawing by taking the divider function. So similarly, what other list out? Bow compass. So what the bow compass? Same. What the difference here to here? Here is the, by applying the pressure, I can just adjust the gap. What the radius required, I can just adjust. But whereas here, I cannot adjust by the hand. I cannot adjust the hand. So to want to make any adjustment, what the necessary, I have to operate this screw and nut mechanism. Okay, if I just screw it, I can decrease in the gap. I want to make the more gap, I can just unscrew it. So by that one, I can adjust. When you want the smaller circles repeatedly you want to draw. So with this one, how we are able to draw? So by taking this as a pressure, okay, when I want to that one, this has the pressure, I can just apply the circuit like that. So what is the mode of applying? So while applying this one, we are pressurizing here. While this pressurizing, sometimes the repeated circuits when you draw, unknowingly the pressure may be just disturbed, maybe it is 2 to 3 mm differences. The 2 to 3 mm causes we may not produce accuracy as the drawing intended. So instead of that one, we may suggest it to use whenever the accuracy is higher with the repeated holes required, this one. So what that advantage mean? Until unless you are operating this screw adjustment, you cannot disturb the area of this one. So that as many you want to draw with the same accuracy, we can repeat until the last circle as your first circle you got. So that is the advantage of the bow compass. Similarly, with the bow compass as a divider, you can get the bow divider also. So this is the bow divider. So after that, whatever listed, the one more is the lengthening bar. So what the advantage of the lengthening bar I told? So when you want to draw as the maximum radius you want to getting with the compass, the still you want to get the more still, so then I can use the lengthening bar. A lengthening bar nothing but the length bar which can attach to the compass. This is the normal compass we are using. This is the normal compass using. At this end, I am just taking a lead. Whatever the lead post, I can just remove. Okay. Suppose before that one I want to check here. So let I insert this one. Maximum area you may get up to this one. Still I want to maximum this one. The still I want to increase. Simply I can insert this bar here. After inserting here, at the end again I can clip this one. Like that, when I increase this much arm, so that I can extend it so on so much, so that conveniently we are able to draw. But those are the very rare cases. Whenever the very rare cases you need to draw to meet the normal general, if you are increase extra length, you can add by this leg to the leg of the arm. So it facilitates to draw the more length. That is the advantage of lengthening bar. After the lengthening bar, inking pen. So this is the inking pen. When you want to convert the pencil line, this is the inking pen. It is entirely different compared to the normal inking pen. We can just check here. We can find here a normal gap here. Okay. In the ink pot, you have to dip, and again you have to use for your inking work. So by the capillary action, so when you are dip in your ink pot, it holds the temporarily reservoirs the ink here. So you can just use to draw the line until it is getting out. So once it is empty, again you have to dip in the ink pot, and again you have to use for the lines. So also you can control the line thickness and thickness. So how to control mean? So as the gap increases, you are getting the more thick lines. When the gap you want to decrease, then you can get the thin lines. So by operating this one, I can just adjust the line thickness also. This is the inking pen. So besides we have discussed, this is the lead case, a small plastic box. By opening this one, you can just temporarily just keep the leads, whatever the necessary for the compass in this one. So this is the temporary. After that, we discuss one more thing, a small screwdriver like that one. So which makes the temporary repair. Here and there repeatedly you are using, the screws may become loose. So to just temporarily you can just tight here, and you want to very hard you are getting, it may be loose here. So for the minor repairs, you can use that one. All the instrument, what is the large compass, the large divider, bow compass, bow divider, inking pen, bow inking pen, so lengthening bar. So after that, this small screwdriver we can use as a box together, which is known as the instrument box. Are you able to view? So now what I told, the large scale as well as the small scale. This is the horizontal in direction. This is the vertical in direction. So almost by this knob control, I can swivel here and there. How much you are just swivel, how much I rotated. By this graduation, I am able to measure this angle of rotation also. So nothing but, so this scale mutually perpendicular to each other, which is the function of sec square. The 90 degrees readily available. At the same time, the normal scale you can use. How much I swiveled also, I can able to identify how much angular movement. So it is nothing but combines the function of scale, set square and protractor. So that is the major advantage of this one. Similarly, one more thing I told. So this one, entire this one, you are fixing to a junction of lever. So what we have drawn here. So next on other end, we are having a cap insertion so that we can fix this cap insertion so that I can fix onto the board. So once I are getting the board fixing, I can use the mini drafter readily for working on area. All this about our drawing instrument. So which facilitates us to create the more accurate drawing with a lesser in time. So that is the advantage of the drawing instruments.